Hey guys, welcome back to a new What If. Today we're doing What If Naruto Female Was a Gymnast Part 1, and yeah, before we start getting to this What If, I just want to say that the somewhat reason why I'm kind of doing this somewhat now and not when What If Naruto went back in time but became a girl, because I'm not somewhat, waiting until that one's done, just because I'm getting bored of that one, I'm getting burnt out, so I'm going to do this one, obviously, today, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's Wednesday, yeah, it's not Wednesday, and of course part 2 will be done and uploaded Friday, or at least uploaded Friday, and also Friday, an hour or two, depending on the length of the What If, a poll will then somewhat go up on the channel, the community tab, where you can vote on if you want this one to continue, or if you guys want the other one to somewhat come back, to somewhat continue until somewhat completion, though that one I'm getting burnt out with, so if you want this one to continue, I would somewhat continue it up until the 3 time skip, where then I'll ask somewhat you guys, then have a poll on the community tab, more so poll, where I'll just somewhat obviously simply state, do you want obviously this one to continue beyond it, or do you want the other one back? Because hopefully by then my burnout of that What If has gone, and I can somewhat be able to properly, somewhat obviously drag it into, say, like 1.5 to 2 hour long somewhat What Ifs, and get it somewhat done, or at least in a place where somewhat you guys either somewhat enjoying it again. Anyway, so yeah, that's somewhat why. And also, yeah, that isn't somewhat nothing else I want to add, so yes, let's get into this. So Naruto'd be somewhat sitting down kind of all alone in his apartment, as it'd be somewhat just watching somewhat TV, as pretty sure that Naruto's apartment does have a TV. Pretty sure. Anyway, yeah. If not, then it does. We know Konoha has TVs or monitors or whatever you like to call them. There won't be a monitor. It'd be, yeah. Anyway, it would somewhat have a TV, and it'd somewhat be, well, it was initially just being a 4-year-old child, just going through the channel, seeing what there somewhat was kind of on it, as there wasn't really much for him to do. The villages only somewhat a couple of days ago started, glaring at him and somewhat kind of looking at him with hatred and that, and he couldn't really understand why, but that made him not really want to go outside. So yeah, that, and anytime he tried playing with children, their parents would come and take them away. Kids his own age, or somewhat slightly older, and yeah, so yeah, though he'd go through the channels, and it eventually somewhat you'd somewhat end up kind of ending on a channel that was somewhat covering something, and somewhat somewhat similarly the annunciator, judge, whatever person simply state that this was somewhat the finals, or the somewhat world finals of the somewhat gymnastic competition, was starting to get very interesting, and I would somewhat would somewhat wonder what gymnastics mean. So he'd somewhat continue to watch, and he'd watch it from where he started watching it to somewhat the end, and yeah, by this point, of course, Hiruzen hadn't really kind of told him about somewhat kind of being a somewhat shinobi or ninja is. That would be a couple of days from now saying canon Naruto. We don't really know when somewhat Hiruzen told him, about that got him to obviously want to become a shinobi. Anyway, and yeah, and so somewhat Naruto would, Hiruzen had already told him, actually. And so, someone who's already, wanting to obviously join the academy, and that though the academy would start would be starting in a couple of months from now, 6 months to be precise, as it's the start of somewhat the kind of year. And he was, of course, somewhat only 4 years old, while some other kids would be 5. And yeah, anyway, so he'd end up somewhat leaving, and kind of, he would somewhat turn off the TV as it was over now, and he would somewhat look at the clock and somewhat look out his window. He'd put his head out the window to see where the somewhat sun was, as as at the moment he was still learning to somewhat obviously somewhat time, to properly understand somewhat time at the moment. So he only relied on somewhat the kind of sun, and was slowly slowly matching somewhat the time that was currently on the clock to the position of the sky. The sun in the sky. Anyway, though he'd amused that he's got enough time to somewhat that it was still kind of it was just there would still be enough time in the day so that he could go and somewhat ask his somewhat Gigi, Hiruzen Sarutobi, or Konoha's third Hokage, if he could somewhat be a maybe gymnast instead, or more so that he could train as a gymnast, so that when he becomes a shinobi, who have somewhat gymnastic skills, and maybe could somewhat use them to beat up somewhat bad people, and be even even awesomer somewhat shinobi. That's what was somewhat going through his mind somewhat. And so he'd kind of run about Konoha, trying to somewhat remember and would end up remembering that big red building was apparently where the Hokage worked at, or that, or at least that's what people that he'd heard somewhat people somewhat say, or that, or and after a while he'd somewhat arrive at a big red tower that he'd somewhat hope. Granted, it was the only big red tower he'd seen, but there could be more that he hasn't seen yet. After all, he was just somewhat small, so he couldn't really see. And so he'd somewhat walk in, and he'd walk all the way up, and not really being able to obviously somewhat read, only being 4 at the moment. He'd somewhat just go and somewhat to open that door was, and somewhat he'd somewhat amused if he should knock. That was the polite thing. He'd somewhat amused because obviously he could somewhat be busy or that at the moment, so he'd somewhat knock as hard as he could, and a couple of seconds later he'd hear somewhat come in. He'd somewhat try to either push the doors or open them, but he couldn't. They were just too big and too heavy. And then a couple of seconds later there'd be another somewhat he could hear somewhat footsteps, and the door would somewhat then creak open as the old man would go and somewhat blink, and he'd somewhat the old man Hiruzen would then somewhat look down as he'd go, somewhat, Naruto, come in, my boy, how can I help you? What has brung you somewhat here today? This is somewhat Naruto somewhat would walk in, as Naruto would somewhat go he was somewhat just over for him now to go to the somewhat sofa or settee in his Hokage in the office. As he did somewhat sit down, his go over and somewhat sit down and by him as Naruto somewhat ask if he could maybe somewhat become somewhat gymnast or start training to become a somewhat to do gymnastics, and he's would somewhat ask somehow did he somewhat know about kind of like gymnastics, and now to say that he was somewhat kind of somewhat a bit bored as he'd somewhat going to explain, and that, and also the fact they begrudgingly bring up the fact that the the villains were glaring at him. He's in with somewhat that way kind of quite shy as he know why. And though he could somewhat though he could somewhat see though Naruto's artist somewhat point that being able obviously somewhat while it's obviously most shinobi generally mainly obviously somewhat fight with their bare hands, some use obviously swords, katanas, or somewhat kunais, bow and arrow, whatever. Though to his knowledge he hasn't really heard of a gymnast or someone training to be a in gymnastics to somewhat do that. So he'd somewhat and you'd go, it's going to be hard right now, and there are going to be somewhat kids who are only 2 years old. Kids somewhat who have been training since they were 2 to become a gymnast. So there are going to be people who are already going to have a leg up on you somewhat in this obviously field. Not much, but a leg up, and nevertheless. Though Naruto somewhat not state that he understood and that he'd still want to train to become a somewhat in gymnastics, as he'd make him an awesome shinobi down the line. He's somewhat nod though, he'd somewhat tell him that though that did have a slight issue, Naruto would ask what that slight issue was, and he was somewhat bring up the fact that you see Naruto's there are somewhat 3 academies in Konoha. These academies are the Ninja Academy, which generally gets known as somewhat the name gets changed to Shinobi Academy, but it is very much ninja, as Shinobi is a male ninja, and it's the Ninja Academy as girls can become ninjas as well. They're just known as Kunoichi. That would nod. Next one is a academy called the Ballerina Academy. It's an academy that teaches somewhat young, mainly girls, to somewhat become ballerinas. Though it also, of course, teaches somewhat history, maths, and everything else that the somewhat Ninja Academy would teach. The only difference being that instead of teaching them how to, somewhat say, throw jutsu around and somewhat, so instead of teaching them how to do jutsu, they teach them how to be a ballerina. And then the next one is the somewhat Gymnastics Academy, which which teaches people how to be somewhat a gymnast, and of course as well as the somewhat maths, science, and all that normal stuff that the academy and Ballerina Academy would teach. Though there is a 4th one as well, though that's not an academy but what we'd call somewhat school, and that's pretty much instead of focusing on somewhat becoming a ballerina when you're older, or a gymnast when you're older, or a shinobi, a ninja when you're older, this one simply teaches civilians more so, just gives them somewhat, say, history, maths and that. And well, yeah, somewhat, so that you can obviously, so if that child doesn't want to, be a ninja of the village, or a somewhat ballerina, or gymnast, they can be, say, like a cook, or a something else, say an architect, now someone ask, person who designs buildings, or designs structures like buildings, bridges, and somewhat kind of villages themselves in some way. Yeah, it's not somewhat just nod. And or say people who somewhat make boats or build boats, and somewhat build carriages, or other somewhat fields that, and that would just somewhat nod. And he's and how anyway, though, the somewhat issue, of course, to become a gymnast, or at least to train to become somewhat relatively good in gymnastics, you'd have to go to the gymnastics academy, which means you can go to the ninja academy. I'd go, but I really want to be, and he was somewhat just nod, as something you'd think. You could see obviously someone Naruto looked sad. He wasn't crying. Heck, I hadn't seen Naruto really ever cry before, and so he'd somewhat go through, and now he was somewhat starting to regret banning somewhat people from trying to somewhat adopt Naruto, as obviously he'd seen it as some people trying to obviously either somewhat try and make him say hate Konoha or something else. Well, he was with the muse, as he'd go, I guess, maybe, well, I guess it won't hurt to ask, as he'd go like that. Maybe a workaround to Naruto, but you'd still be somewhat in the gymnastics academy up until you reach 12 years old, when they would somewhat go from the kids would go from the somewhat gymnast academy or gymnastics academy to a somewhat a actual gymnastics kind of working place, more so where they somewhat train kind of somewhat best gymnastics people, which Naruto just nod. And of course you'd say, so of course at that time, instead of going to becoming obviously sort to moving on to that next step, you'd be you'd do the Genin exams to become a Genin. And that would would ask somewhat how, because you wouldn't be able to somewhat do the jutsus around somewhat like you said, old man, and somewhat unless I somehow somehow make two myself, and one goes there and another one goes something to that. Who's mid go as who's in think with someone means that was one way, but that was another way. Ironically, I did go, well, that may, the somewhat way would be, say you, just somewhat stay there. I have to speak somewhat to my arm for a minute. I do it just somewhat go okay, as Hiruzen somewhat leave as they'd spoken in private. As Hiruzen noted the Army had straight up left. Yeah, so he'd sort of walk out his office as he'd somewhat tell one of the Army to go get Cheetah. And the Army would somewhat nod, and a couple of minutes later, said somewhat Army would appear. Though Hiruzen would somewhat just before said somewhat for Cheetah to follow him as he'd somewhat enter a somewhat another similarly room. This would be the somewhat kind of council chamber, or just somewhat council room where the somewhat where Kaharu and somewhat Danzo and the other council person somewhat tells that Hiruzen or advises Hiruzen. They'd walk in and Hiruzen would somewhat when once the door shut, would somewhat turn to Cheetah and would somewhat ask her if she'd be somewhat more than happy to kind of somewhat say if she'd somewhat be more than say happy to kind of in a way somewhat slightly struggle to somewhat explain it somewhat to her, but eventually he'd managed to fully explain it to her, and she'd somewhat think and go, so you're finally going to let me somewhat adopt him, Hokage-sama? As he'd go, well, not quite adopt, as that's purely up to him, not me. And yeah, for now it'd be like, say you and him would move into a separate home, where then somewhat as say after somewhat school you can train after the gymnastics academy you could train him in obviously somewhat the shinobi arts, because he wants to become a shinobi, but one that somewhat has the skills and flexibility of a gymnast, which so it's just somewhat nod and yeah, those who'd somewhat ask how long would she obviously somewhat have somewhat with him until she returns back to obviously active somewhat duty, and he'd stay well. Say somewhat 7 months, as we have to obviously get him to somewhat learn the transformation, as while the civilians have apparently found out that he's the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, and have somewhat started obviously sending glares at him, and so somewhat plan on teaching him the transformation jutsu, so that he could transform into someone a boy, some obviously his same age, somewhat boy, but obviously look different enough that Nondu would somewhat know that it's obviously him, but obviously maybe say someone obviously similar to you, where you'd somewhat look like his mother, and that Nondu would bat an eyebrow to you, because it would be clear that you and him are somewhat mother and son. She'd somewhat think about it for a bit and would just somewhat go, okay then. She'd somewhat think about it for a bit more before she'd somewhat nod and would agree, as she'd then, as Hiruzen then just for her to somewhat obviously come with him, as they would leave the council room and enter the Hokage office, as he would then, with the door somewhat shut in, he'd somewhat then somewhat turn to Naruto, gesturing him to somewhat come over, which he would then somewhat explain that this here would be the person that he would be somewhat living with for up until he'd become, say, up until somebody became, say, Shinobi or that. And so after, say, the Gymnastics Academy, he would go home and somewhat cheat the hair, or somewhat be kind of your, somewhat say, or at least say people outside of the Gymnastics Academy, would somewhat see her, somewhat yearn to her as a mother and son. Now to ask somewhat how, as they looked somewhat different. Obviously, well, somewhat different, wildly differently, as Hirozen would somewhat then tell him about somewhat the transformation suits, and that he could, say, transform into somewhat somewhat, obviously he could change his appearance somewhat enough that nobody would know it's obviously somewhat him, and he wouldn't get no more glares than that. Now to somewhat think about it and then ask, then somewhat state, wouldn't it be better if he somewhat became a Kalen instead? His mood somewhat start now to and go, well, no. So it's kind of stating that to ask somewhat why, and that if he that obviously become a boy, somewhat in that, and well, everyone already knows kind of how I act, so they would just somewhat see me, maybe some would obviously eventually find out that it was me, or some people would figure it out that it was me, and that they wouldn't be able, they would never somewhat really think obviously that he's somewhat maybe kind of excited and somewhat like hyperactive gal would be me. Now would they, Hizen somewhat would stare at Naruto, and Cheetah would go, Hokage-sama does have a valid point there, though whilst I agree with you on that, Naruto should really stay as a boy, but I can very much see your point in this, and all in all it's your decision. Just know that there could be some future repercussions of this somewhat decision right now. Naruto somewhat quite excited to the side and ask what repercussions would that be, as should say, well, if you're going to transform yourself into a somewhat gal, eventually you're going to end up say once you somewhat start puberty, or say your female transformed self starts puberty, you're going to eventually start noticing that you obviously start growing in the ways of somewhat gal, so your somewhat hips will grow wider. Well, you get taller, though both boys and girls obviously get taller. Anyway, somewhat, your hips would grow wider, your voice would get higher and softer, and your chest would also somewhat grow out, and being a male, your penis will somewhat shrink. And those are the repercussions. Possible repercussions, we're not really sure if the transformation could could actually alter someone to that degree, but it is very much a possible repercussion of somewhat being a transforming into a female and doing that for a long period of time. Naruto would just be somewhat confused and would somewhat shrug and would go, well, as long as I can become somewhat Hokage, then I don't really somewhat care. He would state that as long as he can somewhat surpass all the previous Hokages and be a somewhat cool, somewhat shinobi, he doesn't care. Which so then somewhat Cheetah would then somewhat look at Hiruzen, as Hiruzen would somewhat advancedly sized, it'd go, well, if that's how you feel, then Naruto, then just know that obviously once you start changing as a girl, you have been warned. I have warned you, and you somewhat can't complain if you obviously somewhat, yeah, Naruto just somewhat would nod. And yeah, though Naruto somewhat then ask somewhat how would he yeah, somewhat then get excited as yeah, they would then proceed to start trying to teach him, well, firstly it'd be somewhat chakra control, and yeah, somewhat a month would go by once Naruto could finally stick a leaf to his forehead. They would somewhat try and teach Naruto the transformation, but it'd somewhat fail. And he was somewhat thinking that, you know, his digital chakra of the Nine Tails is also a Uzumaki, for crying out loud, so his chakra, you know, was through the roof, quite literally. And so chakra control is somewhat the main thing that I have to work on. That's what he gets in his head, so he starts teaching Naruto, or at least him and somewhat Cheetah, or by this point Naruto learnt of her actual name, which is somewhat Lily or Lilith. And yeah, those like somewhat just obviously somewhat keep on training and that, and eventually Naruto would learn how to walk up somewhat, you know, trees, you know, walk and run up trees or the side of buildings, and, you know, hang upside down, well, walk upside down and that. And yeah, with that still not being enough, Hiruzen would somewhat teach him how to walk on water and then up waterfalls, and still not enough. And even start teaching somewhat Naruto and advising somewhat how to balance kunai with just this chakra. And yeah, though while somewhat once Naruto had you know, been able to somewhat kind of walk up trees and that somewhat, and obviously Lilith or Cheetah somewhat not seen any real improvement, it figured that it wasn't the amount of chakra he was using, it was just that he was bad, obviously somewhat in it, you know, he's not going to get it down first try now. So once Hiruzen trained him in the chakra control part, should start having Naruto kind of improve his kind of visual imagery in his mind, so that when he does the transformation, it's more accurate. And yeah, and around about a week before the start of the Gymnastics Academy, Naruto would finally get the transformation jutsu down, that he could transform into somewhat Lilith, Hiruzen, whoever he sees fit. And yeah, and so somewhat should somewhat start obviously somewhat telling out obviously somewhat what to change in that, and obviously Naruto, well, should also had somewhat brought Naruto to the library to obviously learn about the differences between the male and female, boy and girl, somewhat body, so that he can, you know, properly transform into somewhat a girl, and that there's no possible lingering somewhat smoking where a shinobi doesn't properly know what, you know, what somewhat say a girl has or a boy has, depending on said ninja's gender. Anyway, yeah, so somewhat yeah, Naruto would firstly obviously transform himself somewhat into a girl, as yeah, they would somewhat start kind of altering parts here and there, as Naruto, my whole somewhat height would be changed a little bit, but not all that much. His skin tone would go from being somewhat kind of lightly tan to being, well, yeah, yeah, they would drop his somewhat tan skin to being somewhat somewhat lightly tanned, like it was tanned by the sun itself. And yeah, they would somewhat also alter his eyes to a more somewhat greyish blue. And yeah, he'd also somewhat change up his hair colour to a somewhat more kind of actual, somewhat not instead of blonde or that, but a more kind of natural red, kind of red hair. So it'd be a somewhat natural looking born redheaded child, and whereas Cheetah or Lilith wasn't a redhead, though somewhat say certain obviously somewhat looks by somewhat the shape of the eyes and somewhat the kind of somewhat overall slight, barely noticeable curves, and that was more kind of somewhat, instead of looking obviously like Kushina, it now looked like his, or at least somewhat mother figure, Lilith or Cheetah. Well, Cheetah / Lilith. And yeah. And so, oh yeah, because somewhat his just somewhat be happy like Naruto finally somewhat, well, not just happy but also just relieved that, well, yeah, the hurdle's finally somewhat over. Now finally over the hurdle, and that in 1 week's time they would somewhat be able to, Naruto would be able to somewhat start the Gymnastics Academy, though he would also somewhat tell Naruto what he would somewhat need. Yeah, also of course during 6 months, obviously him and Lilith, well, yeah, during somewhat those months, Lilith and somewhat him had somewhat moved into a somewhat 2-bedroom apartment, and whilst it was somewhat fine, Cheetah was occasionally looking around for a more better, somewhat actual, say, 2-bedroom house instead, because the house could have, well, somewhat a garden, which obviously somewhat a garden, and possibly maybe somewhat a basement-ish area. But the main, obviously, point was the garden, where she could somewhat train somewhat Naruto, because Naruto would be truly classified as a civilian, and more specifically his sort of female self. Well, yeah, because someone Naruto is classified as, say, somewhat civilian, as he wouldn't be entering the Shinobi Academy. He cannot enter the Academy training grounds nor the Shinobi training grounds. Thus, well, there's nowhere really he could train, so a house would give them somewhat of that. And yeah, anyway, though the somewhat day would come, and somewhat Lilith would somewhat, well, yeah, Naruto would somewhat kind of dress up as the somewhat Gymnastics Academy teacher had gone around to somewhat every somewhat student that would be starting, and throughout the somewhat week, to kind of get to, not just obviously somewhat know the child, but also the parent or parents. And well, yeah, of course, and so yeah, and of course somewhat told, well, yeah, besides them telling them somewhat that the first day would be more kind of an introductory somewhat type thing, so just to coming in some just comfortable somewhat clothes, and that the next, and then the next day would be kind of actual something, a bit of somewhat gymnastics, somewhat training, and like the day after that would be just somewhat classroom, kind of a bit of like somewhat classroom training, more so learning to read and write and spell, those things, which afterwards just, well, yeah, they would somewhat nod. And yeah, well, somewhat Lilith was Lily or Lilith was somewhat happy because it somewhat meant she wouldn't have to try and obviously teach Naruto to read, as well. Yeah, she had somewhat almost barely any idea, obviously, how to teach someone how to read. Anyway, yeah, and well, yeah, Naruto would, of course, someone should take Naruto, drop Naruto off, and yeah, obviously should somewhat leave and should somewhat go off to the Ambu training ground to get some training in, because granted she only had 1 more month before she'd start her her Ambu duties again, and yeah, so she wanted to obviously capitalise on this somewhat now month that when Naruto, or more specifically, somewhat Naruto, or as his female self is called, somewhat Shio, or which means tights in Japanese. Well, at least that's what Google says. Anyway, so yeah, and the first the first week would somewhat go by, and of course once Shio and Lilith or Lily got back from once Lily or Lilith picked Naruto up, while Shio up from the Gymnastics Academy, they'd somewhat go home, and once they were home, Shio would go to a room, get changed, and would release the transformation, which was something that Hiruzen had more so told him to somewhat do to possibly limit the potential future backlash, which Naruto already didn't really care off, though. So though they would be somewhat walking home, as it would be somewhat Friday. It would be somewhat the end of Naruto's first academy somewhat week in school, in the gymnastics school, and somewhat she would ask if there'd be training today, which Lilith would go, yes, Shii-chan will be somewhat training when you get home. She'd go, yeah, okay, once we get home somewhat quietly now, I'll somewhat transform back, as Lilith will go, no, you don't need to, or at least not today. Lilith will, she would then somewhat look at her and go, what do you mean? But I know what the Hokage said, but eventually you're going to obviously make friends, and somewhat they're going to invite you to sleep over, and you're going to have to somewhat learn how to, you're going to have to somewhat get used to just somewhat living somewhat kind of just not just going to the academy, but as a girl, but also somewhat at home as a girl, and sleeping doesn't really change between genders, but just overall getting more comfortable sleeping somewhat as a girl and spending time at home as a girl, and also somewhat training, because there are certain fields that only a Kunoichi could do, and certain fields that only a Shinobi could do, and with you being able to do obviously somewhat transform, and obviously somewhat develop a much stronger connection with, say, the obviously somewhat female side, they'd somewhat talk, and they would somewhat go home, and that somewhat day they would end up somewhat just training. Though, yeah, though, so, though, seemingly sort of after training, that they'll just somewhat down and go, hey, somewhat Shi-chan, you can, somewhat go and, have your bath now, go and somewhat, start dinner. She'd somewhat nod, she'd go into, then somewhat start, and she'd go, I don't have any, somewhat, night clothes, somewhat as a girl remember, and somewhat Lilith would just somewhat stop her, she'd go, oh, right, I should go, just somewhat have your bath and somewhat just come out, yeah, just somewhat say put on a, somewhat pair of, just somewhat, panties, and I'll somewhat go and get you somewhat with my somewhat smaller-ish somewhat tops that it would be big on you, but yeah, you can somewhat ride that tonight, and that tomorrow we'll go shopping and get you some night some night clothes. Okay. So someone just nod and yeah. And yeah. Though eventually somewhat Naruto more so my Shio would somewhat end up going somewhat Lily-chan should somewhat blink and go, she should somewhat blink and she'd go, Snap would go, top, remember? And she'd, oh, right, sorry, just somewhat, let me quickly, somewhat dish up dinner, and I'll go and get a top quickly. Somewhat, she would just somewhat nod as they'd then quickly somewhat finish dishing up dinner and would somewhat put on the tails as she'd seem disappear, and a couple of seconds later would somewhat come back into the dining-ish slash kitchen, somewhat dining-ish room, dining slash front room, where she'd then somewhat give Lilith a somewhat top, which would definitely be big, somewhat honour, very much so. And yeah, from there, obviously they'd somewhat have dinner. Lilith or Lily would have somewhat a bath, and they would end up going to bed a couple minutes afterwards. And yeah, day after that they'd somewhat go shopping. And yeah, it was lucky somewhat Lily had somewhat kind of started kind of just telling her to spend more time somewhat getting her too used to just being comfortable sort of as a somewhat girl, as well, yeah, because I'm from that month would somewhat the rest of the some weeks would go by as yeah. Today was somewhat Lilith's somewhat first day back as a first day back as an active can't think of the name, thing, and yeah, though at the moment she's somewhat kind of indoors, sort of waiting my well, so somewhat being somewhat the somewhat weekend, they'd also somewhat kind of gave her somewhat more of an easy day, as then somewhat Monday would be somewhat a kind of more full, proper, more or less normal day for her. It would just be more of less a gradual kind of, somewhat back in, as she'd spent 7 months out of Arnbu, so there'd be a somewhat kind of gradual weekish long kind of back introduction to somewhat Arnbu and that. Anyway, though at the moment she'd somewhat be like in the somewhat living room of the somewhat house. Yeah, well, no, somewhat apartment. Though she had somewhat bought a house and had somewhat had obviously told the Hiruzen the Hokage as well being somewhat a shinobi or my Kunoichi just being the somewhat a ninja of the village or somewhat the stuff like rent and somewhat water, gas, electric would all be somewhat mile free because he was a ninja of the village. That was the privilege of being a ninja. You didn't have to worry about that as it was paid by the village because you was risking your life every day. So yeah, that was the perk. Anyway, downside is you'd more than likely die. Yeah, that was the massive downside. You probably wouldn't live to see another day. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Though some of the house was going under some slight renovations, or more so shinobi renovations, more so the underground, as it was only some a 2-story just house, so a downstairs, upstairs. So downstairs, kitchen, living room, and dining room. Upstairs, some 3 rooms, 2 bedrooms, and 1 bathroom. Both actually had a small. Both bedrooms had a small walk-in wardrobe. Not all that big, but enough for somewhat them. Or yeah. And the rooms were big enough that if they needed more clothes room, they could, buy a wardrobe and somewhat, there's more than enough room to have a somewhat wardrobe and that. Anyway, though at the moment they're somewhat having a basement, or which would be somewhat a kind of more so. So in the basement would be kind of an armory, so that obviously somewhat they would have kunai shuriken and that. So if obviously someone that has friends around, they're not going to see sharp spiky objects and that. Like they could obviously somewhat either grab unknowingly or step on or something and hurt himself badly. So yeah, I'd have that place under some ground. Yeah, though Hiruzen decided to have a second level underneath that, which would be a somewhat gymnastics room, because of course once Naruto started somewhat being active, an active shinobi once he was 12 and a half years old, around about 12 and a half. That he would obviously not really be able to, train something in gymnastics. So he was he was having them also build an underground somewhat gymnastics place so that Naruto could, somewhat obviously train to, keep up his somewhat gymnastic skills and continue to improve. And yeah, anyway. And so, the house was somewhat under, obviously, somewhat the underground part was under construction. Though it should be finished within the next week or so. So yeah, they'd be somewhat moving in shortly. And yeah. Anyway. Though someone should hear a knock at the front door and should know it's not somewhat Shio, as someone should gone out and was with some friends at the moment. So should somewhat maybe it was the Hokage, maybe. So should someone go and open up the door and go, Hokage-sama. He'd go, somewhat Lilith, how are you? As she'd go, I'm fine, Hokage sama, come in. I'd somewhat walk in, those who'd ask why you're somewhat here, and he'd somewhat nod as he'd go, well, I'm somewhat here to kind of check up on kind of somewhat you. So he'd go, well, Naruto or Shio isn't here at the moment. So he'd go, oh, she isn't. Or, well, yeah, Naruto isn't, as should sacred stating that Shio was currently spending some time with some academy friends at the moment, which is some I see. Well then, though, still, how you two have somewhat have gotten along. But still, how are the somewhat two you doing? She'd state that, and yeah, she'd state that her and Naruto is somewhat relatively fine, and is kind of somewhat kind of noticed me kind of thing he started to slowly develop as God now. He's now that she's got friends, or that it seems to have killed that before it could develop anything yeah. It was a somewhat nod as he'd go, hello, somewhat how about you? I'm fine, Hokage-sama. You'd look at it and go, you sure? Seems like you're unsure of something, Lily-chan. She'd somewhat look at the Hokage, and she'd eventually somewhat just sigh and go, well, somewhat you see, yesterday, somewhat Naruto had called me somewhat mum, but I wasn't sure if, he somewhat just kind of somewhat said it as somewhat she had a friend at the door, or was it because somewhat that's how she somewhat sees me. Like I somewhat don't really know Hokage-sama. I don't really know how to somewhat kind of feel it. Like, do I just somewhat try to ask him, or somewhat do I somewhat just not and see somewhat what happens next? So someone go, well, I would say as the somewhat they'd hear the somewhat door open, and Taylor would somewhat kind of start talking, as somewhat they would somewhat hear a kind of somewhat girl's voice, that being Shio's voice, as they'd go somewhat then she'd somewhat she'd walk in and she'd go, mum, if it is it okay if Miki-chan here somewhat sleeps over tonight? Is Elif would go, well, it's somewhat up to her, somewhat mother. I'm fine with it, and as long as Miki-chan's mum is alright with it, then I'm fine with it as well. As somewhat Miki would nod and would somewhat state that her mother was somewhat fine with it as long as somewhat she was, which she just nodded. Those should somewhat remind the two girls that that Miki would need her gymnastics outfit for tomorrow. It's the two girls would somewhat nod, and Miki and she would somewhat leave with with them going back to somewhat Miki's house to get some somewhat sleeping stuff. yeah, once they did the somewhat door shut, he's gonna go, well, I think I've got a much better answer than what I was going to say. Should go on, and that is Hokage-sama. Well, I believe he, I believe he does actually see you as his mother. He sees you, or at the very least, as a mother figure, and somewhat deems somewhat you, yeah, and so yeah, he really does somewhat see you as somewhat his mother. The somewhat way he somewhat, or she looked at you and acted, I could only somewhat see somewhat the kind of love a child has for their mother. He truly does love you, somewhat Lilith. So yeah, he probably will start calling you mum a lot more now, even with Namdi about. So yeah, so you somewhat just nod and go. There is something else I'd like to ask. It's just like, how long until some of the house is ready? Hi, Hokage-sama. I'd somewhat like to somewhat eventually start Naruto's taijutsu training somewhat soon. We can't really exactly somewhat do it indoors. It's somewhat just not gonna go, well, it should be done within somewhat a week or so, though. I'll obviously personally come and somewhat inform you when the house is ready to be moved in. Okay, hi Hokage-sama. And yeah, of course, somewhat, yeah. And from there, around about 2 years would go past as Naruto, or Naruto slash Shio would now be somewhat 6, as yeah, those should somewhat be a bit somewhat kind of nervous. Why? Well, because besides from obviously being somewhat trained as a gymnast for 2 years now, it was also their first kind of somewhat competition. The somewhat the somewhat 6-year-old, some of the 6 to 7-year-olds somewhat competition, and it would be a first kind of competition. And somewhat, and once she was somewhat 10, around somewhat 9.5, 10 years old, somewhat they kind of somewhat shifted and have somewhat rad finals, or at least that's what their sensei had told them. And she was somewhat a bit kind of obviously somewhat nervous, because there were obviously somewhat a lot of people watching, not only just obviously random, civilians and like that, didn't know really who somewhat she was, besides from that child, maybe somewhat child's friend, that, but also, while the Hokage, somewhat for one, which was somewhat or the Hokage, or old man, which she calls him, and also somewhat massive figure, Lilith, or Lily. And so yeah, she's obviously somewhat wanting, to obviously show the third Hokage, the old man, and somewhat his mum, somewhat what she really somewhat has got, and yeah. And eventually somewhat be a turn, and somewhat should start on it, and the somewhat day would go by, and she'd still be somewhat kind of nervous, as now it'd be the kind of somewhat kind of ceremony to somewhat know which rich person did the best in which somewhat category, and then the overall somewhat winners. And yeah, she was getting called up every so often in these somewhat different categories for obviously some of the 6-year-olds for being either somewhat second or third place. And so she was a bit obviously she was of course somewhat hoping that she did kind of get some overall actual somewhat trophy, saying that she kind of somewhat got either third or second or maybe even first, though she didn't really see herself getting first. And somewhat and the person would state now for the somewhat overall somewhat fine, so the somewhat and as the person was saying, that is somewhat a lot of some of the adults here somewhat would know that course in the more somewhat professional somewhat wild, we can only have 3 finalists, be that a joint first, joint second or joint third. There can only be 3 people on the podium, but as this is somewhat only of course somewhat 6-year-olds and somewhat they're not really going to be earning any somewhat obviously money from this, besides from somewhat praising that from somewhat parents and loved ones. There's actually a joint third, a second and a third, so there's 4 people on the podium. And to somewhat goal pursues or she heard somewhat goal pursues. She's somewhat really hoping she was on the podium, and she'd get called up for somewhat third, and another person would somewhat get called up as well. Second and first would also get, of course, called up, and she couldn't help but have just a giant smile on her face as she made it on the podium. Granted, there was a couple. There was maybe one, or there was around maybe one that she didn't get obviously podium at all on, or a medal, somewhat for doing, but overall she felt happy and somewhat proud that she at the very least got podium and third, and that she'd continue to train hard. Continue somewhat to train hard, and hopefully when they get first. And and of course, so somewhat after that, somewhat Lilith, somewhat congratulate somewhat Shio for somewhat just coming overall somewhat third, and she's obviously somewhat proud of her, and that, and because somewhat that she would somewhat cuddle her, and just kind of overwhelm somewhat just happiness and that she kind of made her proud. And once they'd somewhat get home to their house, there'd be a somewhat knock at the door, which she would somewhat answer, and she and somewhat the person at the door would get a somewhat the person at the door would somewhat come in and would somewhat enter the living room, which we'd see it as the Hokage. And he'd then somewhat turn to Shio and would somewhat praise her like somewhat Lilith did, and somewhat, and they'd state that obviously it. And that she was that he was proud of her, of getting third overall, and that it was obviously somewhat and he could obviously state that it was no easy feat of getting somewhat third, and yeah, and so yeah, and from there again, more years would go by, and yeah, though through those somewhat years, though once she somewhat hit 8, somewhat they'd, well yeah, once she somewhat got to 9 years old, the rest of her class, or some of her somewhat class or friends being obviously 10, somewhat being 9, they'd somewhat, whoever'd be in the top 3 for Cone House, well, not Cone House final, but the fire, just the land of fire. So whoever got someone in the top 3 in the land of fire would move on to then the world final for 8-year-olds, and if you get into the finals or being somewhat an 8-year-old, obviously, well, the village would get obviously some money, and so would the somewhat person that obviously got to the finals. And yeah, of course, for those somewhat nerve-wracking, she managed to scrape second. Well, she managed to scrape third in the land of fire. And yeah, though of course sadly she didn't end up getting. She didn't get third in the somewhat world final, but she's fine, as it was the world final. It was the best of her somewhat everyone that was either 9 or 10 years old, would somewhat, they were the best, and that should continue to train, and that finally once she was 11 years old, she'd finally managed to get third, and it was hard to get it, but she managed to get it. And a year somewhat after her final somewhat year, doing it as she was somewhat 12 now, and that in a couple of months, the academy, the gymnastics academy would somewhat be over, and they'd go to a more professional somewhat gymnastics kind of academy. You could somewhat call it the high school for somewhat gymnastics. Yeah. And so of course she wouldn't move on to that high school part. She'd move on to becoming an actual shinobi, and would take the shinobi and the Kenyan exams. And then she'd managed to finally, for somewhat her last ever somewhat time doing one, she got first finally, and it was obviously somewhat really hard, though she'd continue even after she obviously became a Ghanaian. She'd still continue to, she would continue to train and get better in gymnastics, get more precise, faster, more flexible, and that. And she'd somewhat throw on the TV every year to watch the Cone House finals, Land of Fire finals, and the World finals, and somewhat to obviously somewhat see maybe her obviously somewhat civilian friends would somewhat land, if they'd make it somewhat that far. And Anyway, though, so like now at the moment though, something like Naruto would just be kind of, well yeah, it would just somewhat be kind of laying down, somewhat kind of staring up at the somewhat is kind of ceiling, as well to say it was very much somewhat Wednesday. Monday, obviously, somewhat they had a kind of somewhat last somewhat day in the somewhat say the academy, the gymnastics academy, and yeah, as many of them had been moving on to the somewhat high school academy, gymnastics academy, while somewhat obviously should be not and should be becoming a gain. And of course some of her well, she had friends and she had close friends. She didn't have really any best friends. Yeah, so some of her close friends somewhat knew her mum was obviously somewhat shinobi. Not they didn't know obviously somewhat Armbu. They just knew that she was a shinobi. More specific, a kunoichi, not shinobi, kunoichi. And yeah, and that she was a relatively somewhat strong and important shinobi, as kunoichi, as of course they'd occasionally had seen the Hokage, the leader, somewhat in Shio and Lilith's home. So yeah. Anyway, and yeah, so they somewhat kind of figured that she would be somewhat probably end up going into somewhat graduate doing somewhat the gaining graduation exam and becoming a somewhat gaining, then tuning and somewhat joining. So, joining, becoming a kunoichi of the village. And whilst the day after that, Naruto had done the shinobi, the ninja exam, which it managed to actually graduate from, as even though he couldn't do the clone jutsu, even though he had somewhat low medic nin level chakra control, somewhat they had somewhat decided now that he's somewhat 12 to give him the shadow clone jutsu and the multi shadow clone jutsu. And yeah, so Naruto had learnt shadow and multi shadow clone jutsu. Anyway, and yeah, so he somewhat managed to pass the clone part using that, though also he could easily detect and dispel somewhat genjutsu. And yeah, though somewhat at the moment, as I said, it would just be somewhat laying down kind of on his bed, just staring up, as of course the actual gaining exam wouldn't be happening for somewhat his academy year, his ninja academy year, until Friday, as somewhat Sunday and Monday was the somewhat kind of last day-ish, or last days of the gymnastics academy. Tuesday and Wednesday would be the ballerina, somewhat last days academy, yeah, and then Thursday, Friday, and possibly even Saturday were the somewhat graduation exam, the gaining graduation exams for the ninja academy, as there were of course somewhat classes there. So yeah, Naruto somewhat class that he would have been in was somewhat Friday. So yeah, and anyway, though somewhat who's just somewhat kind of mulling it over, somewhat just that he's now a ninja of the somewhat village, not a shinobi nor somebody contradictory, as he didn't see, himself either as a shinobi, male ninja, or actually a female girl or woman ninja of the village. He just saw himself as a somewhat ninja of the village. As of course, somewhat as of course, somewhat once he was around about 11 and a half years old, or 11 and a quarter years old, he had, his female self, Shio, had started puberty, or more specifically had started the somewhat period, which had just gone to show just how accurate Naruto's transformation was all that time ago. And which of course had meant the somewhat small little pea-sized bumps, these small bumps on her somewhat chest had obviously developed into somewhat breasts, and more specifically somewhat a decent sized A cup, borderline B cup. And of course that also meant that his own male chest and hips and voice also altered as well. So his voice was slightly high and softer, not as high and soft as his female self, but still a bit high and soft, because hips were slightly wider, and just like obviously Hiruzen or what Cheetah, Lilith, his mum said that his penis and balls would shrink. They shrunk a bit, and his chest had also grown out to a somewhat medium-sized A cup. So he did have breasts, but like he told Hiruzen and his mother, although some years ago he didn't care, as long as he could become Hokage, or just a really strong, a really strong ninja that was stronger than the previous Hokages. The previous Hokages, that he didn't really care, and he didn't. The other thing he cared about, or was somewhat uneasy about, was eventually showing the fact that he did have some breasts, and also kind of making it known that for the past some years in the Gymnastics Academy that he'd spent granted you wouldn't really tell anyone obviously at the moment, and that it's probably something he'd stay maybe once he was a couple of years somewhat older, and maybe say tuning or that he'd somewhat tell his friends and that ninja friends, or maybe the somewhat civilian gymnastic friends she made, maybe they would somewhat understand, hopefully, maybe. So or he just somewhat kept them both separate, and just somewhat you wasn't really sure. Anyway, though, and that's kind of what he was somewhat kind of musing about. Though he'd somewhat knock at the door, as he'd just somewhat kind of look over to the door as the somewhat open, as it'd somewhat be somewhat Lilith, as she'd somewhat just walk in and somewhat sit down on Anna's bed, and would somewhat run a hand through his somewhat hairs. She'd somewhat look at him and go, somewhat are you okay now? You're generally never this long in your oh yeah, you never spend, all this time in your room, you're generally either, somewhat downstairs, somewhat either practicing some of your kunai shoken aim, or, your, gymnastics or training. That is not to go away. So I know, it's like, eventually I'm gonna have to somewhat say, and people are eventually going to, find out that that Shio is somewhat me, the person who the somewhat village hates, and I guess I don't really know, like, kind of just how feel about that. I just go, well, how about you stop worrying about that, as that's far down the line. Heck, you may be 20, you may be 30, you may be in your 40s or 50 by the time they somewhat figure it out. Heck, maybe they will never figure it out, and Shio just goes off and vanishes into the wind, or you just end up getting so comfortable, somewhat as a girl. Naruto vanishes off into the wind, and somewhat he ends up having a somewhat family with a nice strong shinobi husband, and that, which would somewhat cause Naruto to go back, somewhat red in the face, go, what? No. We just go. So I just go, oh, you don't know, someone get married one day and have a family, well, someone, of course. But I'm happy. So I just kind of moan out, just yell out all that, and just some embarrassment, and you see some just chuckle, and should just pat her head and go, well, it's my job to make you embarrassed. And that dude just sitting there glare. Like, yeah, not funny. It's not funny. Though, now someone allow somewhat kind of aside, though, and somewhat thank her for, obviously getting his mind off of somewhat that. So somewhat just shrug and go, well, that's what I'm here for. And, yeah, they'd somewhat talk for a bit, and, yeah. And, well, yeah, mainly somewhat about kind of, like eventually, one day, telling, somewhat friends and that, and to just somewhat remind him that, that obviously, like if they are true friends, they somewhat may hopefully somewhat understand, and that, somewhat understand that obviously somewhat, the villagers, parents, somewhat didn't exactly somewhat obviously like you, and somewhat hate you for some unknown reason, and that, yeah, you ended up somewhat obviously becoming a girl, and you didn't exactly want to obviously keep it secret from them, but ended up doing it anyway, just in case they may end up telling their parents, and somewhat, yeah. Which, well, yeah, and after it's just somewhat nodding, and somewhat just, of course, there is also somewhat one more thing. Should I can have and go, what? Oh, like your somewhat more female appearance. I'm not going to just say feminine. You practically look like a something gal, and yeah, and you go just somewhat remember, exactly like that. If you make shinobi friends, like if they're true friends, because they'll stay by your side. They're not, going to care. They'll see you for somewhat who you are. So what if you have breasts, and breasts and somewhat long, slightly reddish, yellowish hair. They're not going to care. They're going to see you for somewhat, who you are, a, splendid shinobi who would risk his or her own life to save theirs. And yeah, so Naruto, somewhat nod, and yeah, then Naruto would go, though, how exactly am I going to, say, obviously, once I go on, my first somewhat C-rank mission, where I end up going outside of the village for the first time, and have to obviously say maybe somewhat sleep or that. Of course, they're going to obviously see me as a boy, and so I'm going to have to somewhat sleep with the other somewhat boy on my team, if I am teamed up with somewhat two boys. If not, then it'd be somewhat two girls, and maybe obviously somewhat sleeping with somewhat the sensei, or on my own if the sensei's also a girl. And, well, yeah, and so you get the transformation, just transform somewhat yourself into a flat-chested somewhat male. They don't, I would say at the very least, keep your hips, voice, and somewhat everything else the same. Just transform yourself to being flat-chested, and that, well, yeah, they're not really. Well, yeah, so they obviously somewhat get used to, obviously, somewhat you having a slightly, more higher, softer voice and slightly wider hips than most other somewhat boys that are our own age, but they're not really somewhat going to care. The only thing they're going to care about is your really somewhat, maybe your, performance and that. Yeah. And there's somewhat nod, and you'd go then, how much should I obviously somewhat show them. Should go, well, don't of course go all out somewhat fast, and don't forget, obviously, even once you obviously get your team, you find out your sensei, you still have to, do his or hers somewhat gaining test, and that only after passing that I and said somewhat team to other members become true genin. So not and go, and until you somewhat truly become a genin, I would say somewhat hold back a fair bit, and so use no elemental ninjutsu. I'd say somewhat only use, say, somewhat, say, use the shadow clone jutsu, but don't call it out. And try to do the different hand sign, for the normal clone jutsu, so it throws them off. But and transformation, replacement, and the somewhat shadow clone jutsu, you can use that, but I'd say nothing somewhat else. Though you can hit them and run, I'd obviously say hold back a bit on your strength and speed. Granted, obviously they're, going to be jonin, so they're not. It's not really going to possibly somewhat hurt them, but still, obviously somewhat, showing all your cards, somewhat at, somewhat dragged to the front. Sure, they may be a bit upset that you didn't, fully go, fall out, but you can also sort of point out that, obviously that who wasn't technically a actual genin yet, and so you could end up obviously going back to an academy, and and you didn't want nobody really knowing your true abilities yet. You should someone end up nodding, and and so and somewhat a couple of days later, and somewhat it'd be kind of like Friday afternoon when there'd be somebody knock at the door. Somewhat Lily. No, not Lily. Should be somewhat off somewhere. So, somewhat. Shio herself would somewhat go over and somewhat open the door. Just Naruto was by his girlfriend today. Somebody felt feminine today. Anyway, yeah, in somewhat, she'd open the door and go, old man, someone come in. Then she'd step to the side of Susan, someone walking and go, someone Shio, how are you today? I'm okay. Someone old man. Though, I presume you're here to tell me who's maybe on my team or that. You'd go, well, you're gonna have to wait for that. And she'd panic, why? I thought we were close. I suppose, and someone chuckle and go, well, I may see you as my grandson / granddaughter, but it doesn't mean you get some. It doesn't mean I'm going to tell you who you're teamed up with. You should just parents should go, at least who my sensei is. I should go, well, it's somewhat muse, well, I guess it wouldn't exactly hurt to tell you who your somewhat sensei is, that, and it'd actually be probably a good idea I tell you who your sensei is. You should crack an eyebrow at that. Yeah, though, because during that conversation, they'd entered the somewhat living / front room, and they'd sat down on the sofa or settee. He's gonna go, well, let's see, right. Your sensei would is Hatake Kakashi. Should blink her. Kakashi Hatake, the kind of has somewhat later somewhat laziest somewhat shinobi out there. Here's mid go, oh, you somewhat know of him? I should not go, yeah, Mum told me about him. He's lazy, he's a pervert who reads. Yeah, he's also a giant pervert. As in go, just great. I get a perverted sensei. As though before he's somewhat continuous, should somewhat slightly continue somewhat on, and the next thing I know, you're probably a pervert as well, which is somewhat go somewhat just stay quiet on that, because if only she knew, just that he just hit the nail on the head. That he was very much a pervert, though more closet pervert, and that only a really by actually reading somewhat dry books and nothing more. Yeah, anyway, though, yeah, though have you somewhat been, I know you've been a bit, or at least according to you, somewhat your mum, you've been a bit kind of unsure sort of your somewhat self, and or at least where you'd be, so where you'd be in the somewhat future and that. It should go somewhat just go, well, that was, but I spoke to Mum about it, and whilst I'm still a bit like unsure, I'm somewhat better. Somewhat now, it's usually just somewhat nod and go, well, of course, somewhat, an old man, as you very much somewhat know, and of course, I may somewhat not be, I may die between now and whenever you finally somewhat tell, obviously, your either civilian friends or shinobi friends that you may make. But just know that even if I may somewhat die, or if I'm somewhat alive, to somewhat see that day, that, obviously my view of you isn't going to change. Well, obviously somewhat here, it obviously somewhat hasn't, and I will always somewhat, somewhat be there, even if I'm somewhat dead. I should somewhat lift up his finger and somewhat tap her somewhat in the chest, and more specifically somewhat where the heart somewhat is located, somewhat in the body. I should somewhat tap her there. I will be somewhat there. I'll be somewhat always in your heart. With somewhat some tears would obviously somewhat run down somewhat her face, and should somewhat pull the I should somewhat and somewhat I should just somewhat nod. I should look at his and should go, do you think my parents feel the same way? Do you think they love me? As his mood somewhat put her hand somewhat on her, as he could see, and he would know, whilst he still couldn't exactly tell her who her father is. He could at the very least tell her who her mother was, at least right now. As he'd go, well, I'd say, for your parents, more specifically your mother, probably was beating up the entire village. The second they started seeing you, they started somewhat sending some glares to you. They would have most definitely beaten them up, if not killed them or tortured them. Somewhat, of course, that would get Sid somewhat gulp, and somewhat slightly shock and go, your mother was very much a very protective person, and a very stubborn one, just like you. And whilst I can't exactly tell you who your father is, or at least somewhat not yet, as tell the wrong person and you could get an entire army after you. Should someone gulp, but would nod, just go, though your mother, at least feel comfortable enough telling you who your mother somewhat was. Just go, your somewhat mother's name is Kushina, her last name Uzumaki. Should go, yes, your last name is sort of your mum, and he'd somewhat he'd go into detail somewhat on somewhat the kind of initially on the somewhat that she was part of a somewhat deadish clan, and that could be people out there, but obviously they have spread so obviously far and wide around the world that, to his knowledge, she's the only last living Uzumaki left. And though, I do know there is, I do know of another you go, actually, that is kind of a lie, and you go, wait, you do, I do know of another Uzumaki, but I don't know where they are at the moment. I should go, oh, though, isn't go, though, I can somewhat tell you this now, too, like, your mother wouldn't give a damn, somewhat, as long as somewhat you continue to be happy, and as long as you are happy with how your life turned out, she's not going to somewhat care. So what, somewhat if you're a boy with breast, or you somewhat truly decide to somewhat, become a girl for the rest of your life, she isn't going to care. She's just gonna somewhat, as long as you're happy with the decisions you've made, she's going to be happy. And yeah, though she'll probably never really be happy with Konoha, but yeah, though Naruto would ask, why is Susan go like that? Well, you know of the Nine Tails attack, right? I'm pretty sure I remember telling you, yeah. Well, the fourth Hokage had killed the Nine Tails. Well, he didn't exactly kill it. He didn't. No. He sacrificed his life, yes, but he didn't kill it. He sealed it away. Sealed it away? You mean, Funjutsu thing that Mum spoke about? Yes. He used somewhat Funjutsu, and a seal called the 8 trigram seal to seal it away. Well, a kind of a very deadly jutsu that takes the caster's or the user's soul in exchange. They can sell any something into anything, so it's somewhat great. So then, yeah, the reason why you hate it is because the reason why the villagers hate you or Naruto you is because you have the Nine Tails sitting inside of you. And should somewhat go wide-eyed as it go well. Maybe you somewhat send chakra into somewhat your stomach. You could see as you somewhat wearing somewhat just she's more or less just in a somewhat a skirt and she was wearing a skirt and crop top. So yeah, she'd immediately send chakra into her stomach, and lo and behold, she'd mold/send chakra into her stomach, and yeah, the 8 trigram seal would appear on her stomach as she'd just somewhat go. So I know, remember, a seal is like, say more or less say like you're the container, so, or say glass cup. The fox is say the water in the cup. The somewhat glass full of water. The water is neither the glass or the glass neither the water, is it? No. So the fox, you're either the fox, and the fox is not you. You are both separate. And the only thing you get from it, besides from, I believe, enhanced healing, is also eventually the somewhat the fourth had the somewhat designed seal, so that eventually you could learn to, I think, maybe befriend a fox and somewhat work alongside it one day to defeat the person that had forced it to attack the village. And while most people would say it personally attacked somewhat on its own, for what I could somewhat, from what I can remember of that day, was that it had somewhat Sharingan in its eyes. Sharingan, isn't that the Ichi's dojutsu, and that it's like a red with 3 blank tomei in their eyes? Ah, yes, that is, well, not quite, that's the matured Sharingan. Those 2 other versions. There's the 1 tomei Sharingan, 1 tomei in each eye, and then 2 tomei Sharingan. And then there is the odd pair, one eye would have, say, 1 tomei, the other eye 2, and then from there, one eye would have 3, and the other eye would have 2 tomei. Just a maturity process. The more they use it, the more their eyes mature, and the somewhat stronger and more somewhat abilities they kind of get, up until their eyes fully matured and they get the full sets of the full abilities of the Sharingan. And so the Sharingan, it can't, I'm not really sure, as there's only been one other person in existence to control the nine-tailed fox, and that was Madara Uchiha. Do I believe it was Madara who attacked the village? No, but a somewhat rogue Uchiha could have easily come across either somewhat him or somewhat his work, and could have easily had somewhat adapted somewhat his name as, or somewhat his work, and had somewhat gained the ability to make a strong enough genjutsu to control and manipulate the fox into doing whatever he wanted, or she wanted. And yeah, it's somewhat just not so. And yeah, did somewhat talk for a bit longer, and somewhat Naruto would ask if he had any idea. Well, no, I should be somewhat with that. Anyway, yeah, guys, I'm gonna end this somewhat what if here, as I've got to get this uploaded, as it is 9:12 at the moment. Yeah, 12 minutes past 9. So yeah, guys, if you have enjoyed this part, tell me in the comments down below, and of course, if you want, well, not if you want part 2, but if you want part 3/4 this to continue, do tell me in the comments down below. And yeah, guys, have a good day or night, depending on wherever you are and whenever you've watched this. And good bye.